Hey guys, how's it going? Mega Gears here. So, I have been keeping an eye out on the whole thing with the Age of Heroes, right? The new Age of Heroes line of books. We had Silencer, right? Seems like people were enjoying that. I think it's actually probably even gotten better since issue 2. I haven't been reading that. I got Sideways, and for a first issue, it was pretty fun. I like where they're building it up at. The Terrifics, from what I've been hearing from people, been saying it's been pretty good. There've been people that like Damage, so it seems that the new Age of Heroes hasn't necessarily been a home run, but it's been pretty successful and it's been doing pretty good. I mean, Sideways, I had to go to another comic book shop, the one I normally go to. I called them up, they're like, "Oh yeah, we're sold out, bro." So I went to another comic book shop, and fortunately, they had some more. Even they told me they were sold out, but I was like, nah, let me go check anyway. Went over there, and they actually got shipped more than what they had ordered. So I was fortunate, and I was able to get a couple copies. And I was kind of curious. I was like, how much you want to bet somebody hit an issue or two behind Squirrel Girl or something, so they can, pick those up later. That's something I would do. But hey, so I'm enjoying it, and it's funny because a lot of new line events like this with new heroes that they try to push off aren't necessarily successful. I don't want to turn this over to Marvel, so I'm just gonna say this. Some people are afraid to do new comics with new heroes, new lines, and all this type of stuff because it's not successful, so we'll take someone else and throw them in another comic. DC's not doing that, and it seems to be working pretty well. Just saying. But yeah, this is neat. And it's funny because a lot of people are kind of nervous about getting into comics because they're like, they walk into a comic book shop, right? There's all these collector's items and busts of Hulk and Batman and all these crazy omnibuses or omnibuy? Is that what it's called? Omnibuy? The big omnibuys, I guess. Let's just go with that. I think that's how you say it. And trade paperbacks and these just huge hardbound covers of books and a wall rack that's got 5 Batman books, like 4 or 5 Superman books or Superman related titles, in all these other comics, and they're just like, I have no idea where to start. I was like, okay, well I'm gonna read Batman, and you look at them like, okay, well you want to read Detective Comics, you want to read Batman White Knight. There's a Batman book called Batman Dark Prince Charming. It's book of 1 of 2. You want to read that? You want to read just the normal Batman book, or is it something else Batman related you would like to read? You want to read Batman and the Signal? And they're just like, I don't know, man. I just give me a Batman comic. And then, sometimes I'm kind of nervous because they're just like, there's 40 years worth of history of this character I have no idea about. But this, you talk to them, hey, guess what? New line of superhero comics. Sideways. And they're like, okay, well, let me flip through it. And like, oh, the art's really cool. And you look at them like, what's this about? And you're like, oh, it's kind of like Spider-Man, teenager trying to figure out his way, got powers, he's a new superhero, something like that. Okay, kind of like Spider-Man. I can get behind that. Let me check this out. The Terrifics. It's like a superhero team. Everybody's got different powers. There's the genius. There's the guy that's the kind of thug jock. The guy that's kind of the sarcastic, witty, lighthearted character that's got stretchy arms. Kind of like Mr. Fantastic. And there's another character named Saturn Girl or Phantom Girl or whatever her name is. I think it's Phantom Girl. I'm not really big on Legion of Superheroes. I've been meaning to check that out. But and you explain this to them, and it's enough to have them like jump in because it's an issue number 1. There's nothing else that they really need to know. They can just hop into it, and that can be their start in the comics. And that's really what I'm trying to nail down. The new Age of Heroes is DC, is an example of a comic book company trying to branch out and have new reader-friendly titles for people to get into. And that's what's so great about it. I've had friends that were like, I want to read comics, but I don't know much about all these other characters, and it's just kind of overwhelming, man. I mean, I don't really know what to read. It's like, hey, check this out. Check out Sideways. Okay, I like this. Someone they really enjoyed it. A friend would sent me the text, the last lines of the new villain that's in the comic, and he's like, "Oh man, this is so cool." I've talked to other people, and they're just like, "This is something nice that I want to check out." They add it to their pull list, and guess what? They're reading comics now. And that this is just so smart what DC's done. And yes, DC has problems, but let's just talk about something else that's not related to problems with comic book companies, because sometimes I just get tired talking about it all the time. But this is something that's really neat. The Terrifics I'm planning to catch up on. I had finished the Batman Detective Comics arc with the whole thing with Clayface and all that. I didn't get the annual. I heard the annual was really good with Clayface, kind of giving him his retcon backstory, so I might go back around to get that. I want to check out Immortal Men because that's Jim Lee, and there was something else, I forget, the Challengers or something like that. Looks really cool. But yeah, I mean, this new line of comics of just new reader-friendly books with really good artists and fun stories. This is pretty neat. It's pretty exciting. My wallet's gonna take a beating, but hey, man, this is a really exciting time right now with books. The reboot in Marvel. I'm gonna wait to see how that goes. I'm gonna wait and see approach. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think. Like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next.